Dragon Ball Z was one of my favorite animes growing up as a kid. I spent countless hours watching the show and debating with my friends on who was the strongest. But today, we're leaving debates aside and looking at 10 interesting facts about Dragon Ball Z. Let's begin. Many of the heroes and forces of evil throughout Dragon Ball Z have humorous puns built into their names. Kakarot is a play on carrot, Vegeta is more broadly vegetable, Trunks is, well, a pair of trunks, Bulma refers to bloomers, another word for female undergarments, the gargantuan massive imposing muscle known as Brawly, the legendary Saiyan, well, he's broccoli. It gets somewhat difficult to take these guys seriously when you realize their names are usually common ingredients in stew. That's until you remember that many of them can knock asteroids open like eggs. One of the most widely known things to spawn from the legendary franchise was the completely accidental spiraling of a certain line into infamy as one of the most popular memes of all time. And of course we're referring to, "It's over 9,000!" What you may not know about this line is that in the original manga, it was actually penned as 8,000. They even cemented this by re-editing the line back into its original state on Dragon Ball Kai. This could be a mistranslation or simply the dubbing crew deeming that 9,000 fit the lip sync better than 8,000. But deep down, we all know what Goku's power level truly is.
It's over 9,000!
In the show, we saw Frieza as a merciless monster, menacing both for his appearance and power level, which gave a newly pristine Super Saiyan Goku the fight of his life. But behind the curtains and off camera, he was something of a businessman. A business alien? He was the head of the Galactic Trade Organization, an outfit which went out merrily conquering and auctioning off planets to the highest sellers. The series creator, Akira Toriyama, actually based the calculating villain off of real estate speculators, whom he considers to be the worst kind of people. Goten is a Saiyan human hybrid and at a glance appears to be a miniature Goku. That's because he's his son, who was actually originally brought into the folds of the show with the intention of taking over his father's role as Goku, who was slated to be killed off. This didn't pan out so well as fans were quite resistant to the idea of Goku being shunted out in favor of Goten, and we can't really blame them. We don't harbor any hatred for Goten, and we don't think the fans do either, but replacing Goku with anyone is near blasphemous concept that we just can't imagine. Besides, it's not like dying has stopped Goku before, he'd just be back next week anyway. In the original Dragon Ball, as a child, Goku ruthlessly cuts through many of the Red Ribbon Army, murdering countless of their ranks without so much as a second thought. Despite the many climactic, planet-shaking battles we bore witness to in Dragon Ball Z, Goku only ever directly killed 2 beings, both of which happened during the Majin Buu arc. Firstly, there was Yakin, an energy-devouring villain. Goku simply overloaded him with his incredible power, popping him like a party balloon. The second being Kid Buu himself by way of Spirit Bomb. Though you'd be forgiven for getting that one, since if he used the Spirit Bomb, that kill must have come after about 10 or so episodes of Goku grunting, straining, and asking people for energy. Launch was an interesting character and one of our favorites from the original Dragon Ball series. She suffered from a strange disorder that saw her switching between 2 wildly different personalities and appearances to denote them every time she sneezed. Despite her previous prominence, she suffered a noted absence during the entirety of Dragon Ball Z for a brutally simplistic reason. Akira Toriyama forgot she existed. When you dream up a massive, outlandish, incredible, and bizarre world such as the one we see in Dragon Ball series, it can be easy to let a few things slip your mind. But a whole freaking character? We can't help but feel a little sorry for poor Launch. In their time, Goku and friends have done battle with many fearsome foes who could effortlessly bat small comets aside as we do mosquitoes. Cell, Majin Buu, Frieza, Adolf Hitler. Wait, Adolf Hitler? Though the swastikas adoring his attire were subbed out for X's in order to avoid controversy, it was easy to see who they were going for in Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn. The blatant caricature of the Austrian-born villain briefly appeared under the name The Dictator following his resurrection. He and his zombie army were promptly sent crashing straight back down into the depths of hell by fused Gotenks. But not until he makes a really bad joke about Saiyans having blonde hair and blue eyes. The Dragon Balls are 7 beautiful crystalline spheres, marked by the numbers of stars decorating them and and their ability to grant the wishes of their holder. For objects seemingly ripped straight from the pages of a fairy tale, the story these magical orbs find their basis in is pretty damn warped. That story is the 8 Dog Chronicles. Penned in the early 1800s, it tells the tale of 8 magical orbs that came into existence when a princess had sex with her father's dog. Following this act, the orbs shot into the sky, scattered across the landscape, and eventually became human children. Yeah, we're kind of speechless too. God damn it, Japan. A franchise so legendary as Dragon Ball Z is bound to see a few voice actors stand the test of time and eke out names for themselves as series stalwarts. Masako Nazawa, the 79-year-old voice behind Goku, and Joji Yanami, the 84-year-old voice of, well, a lot of people, have done just that. The pair have remained for countless original video animations, episodes, and films for nearly 3 decades, since all the way back when the original Dragon Ball kicked off in 1986. Of all the things we love Dragon Ball Z for, its amazingly fast-paced and extravagantly explosive fight scenes have to be a chief amongst them. Many of its encounters have gone down in history as some of anime's landmark battles. For many reasons, Goku's fateful duel with Frieza on the punctured planet of Namek is one of the most prominent amongst them. It's the first battle that we saw Goku's hair adopt an iconic golden hue as he climbed to level up to Super Saiyan status. It's also the longest running fight scene in anime history. These 2 galactic super heavyweights slugged it out over the course of 18 episodes from 87 to 115 for a grand total of more than 3.5 hours. And here we thought all that grunting and straining to power up was just for show. The Dragon Ball saga is one of the longest running and most acclaimed in the history of both anime and manga. There's absolutely no way we could condense all of the relevant, interesting bites of information into one top 10. So we'd like to turn to you. If you feel like we missed out a piece of information, whether it's hugely key to the series or just a humorous side note, please share along with us in your follow commenters down below. Spread the wealth of Dragon Ball knowledge and subscribe to TGN if you haven't already. My name is David Brown with TGN, and until next time, have a good one, gamers.